Everybody, welcome to the ThermoWeb YouTube channel. My name is Audrey Yeager. Today I'm going to share a fun winter and holiday themed project with you using lots of goodies, ThermoWeb goodies, and this paper pack from Simple Stories. So to start the page today, I am going to use this simple set from Simple Stories, which has a couple double-sided pattern papers and a sticker sheet. And I was looking at the cut-apart sheets, the 4x6 cards, 3x4 cards. I don't typically use them, but I loved the word Merry on this one. There was another card that said joy and another one that said cheer, but I decided to go ahead and go with the Merry. So I fussy cut out the word Merry, and you can see there that I have also cut out of white cardstock a cut file with just stars, and I just did it across the top of my page because I knew I was going to have the title and my journaling on the bottom, so I wanted to make sure that I had space for that. So I took all these different prints, and I love the prints in this collection because they're not really busy. There are a couple just solid tone, well, not solid tone prints, but prints with small pattern that are mostly one tone, and I love that. I love to have a print that is mostly one color with small bits of other color in it, and then a couple patterns, and I think that makes for a great combination of papers. So I wanted to layer my photos in a way that, the picture here is of my kids in front of presents at my mom's house. So they went to their grandma's house, and their uncles were there, and we had all kinds of presents, and this was Christmas, the morning of the 24th, and these presents were just piled and stacked, and I wanted to kind of make just these rectangles and piles of pattern paper to kind of mimic the way that the presents were stacked there in the background. So I definitely want to use a lot of these patterns. So I play around for a little bit with these papers and just, tuck them in different ways, and I'm trying to balance the colors and the patterns and, work around with it for a little while until I like what I got. And I knew, I didn't just want to use the papers, and that's why I did the die cut background too. I'm pretty sure that star cut file is from the Just Knit store. I'm going to look it up for sure, and I'll provide a link to that. So I think in this case, because I'm using a lot of patterns, that less is more. So I just have, little pieces of each of these patterns sticking out. I love the plaid, but I also love these stripes. And I love using a stripe like this where the colors are going vertical and the strips are horizontal. And just a little thin line. I love using striped paper like that. So that provides a really good kind of grounding for my photo and all of the other little pattern papers. So you can see I have a little blue, I have a blue piece on each side, I have a green piece on each side, I have a plaid piece on each side, and I have a kind of like that peachy piece with the holly on each side. So they're not even on each side, but that was kind of, what I was going for. So I had it like I liked it, and I thought, I better just staple this little pile together. So I go to use my tiny attacher to staple it all together. I get that one staple in. Okay, that's good. And then I go to staple these other small pieces, and my stapler jams, and I couldn't staple it. And I was like, I've got it perfect. I got to do something. So I just grabbed my liquid glue, and this is the mixed media liquid adhesive, and I am gluing my strips down with that. So this glue I use for everything. It is my favorite glue in the whole world. I love this liquid glue, and I use liquid glue in my photo and all the things on my page that I can. Okay, so I wanted to add a little bit of shimmer, shine, sparkle to my page, and I had these. So these are little pieces from another project, but I just had to show you because they were so pretty. So these are Foil-Mates, and they are basically printed toner sheets. So they're black, but it's a toner, and you use them. These ones are the Gina K Foil-Mates, and they fit with dies that come with them. So this is the tag die set, and a Foil-Mate that works with the tag die set, as you can see. So they come black, and I'm going to use this. This is a foil transfer sheet from Rebecca Meyer. It is called Vintage Tin. So all you have to do is layer the toner sheet with the foil on top, and you twiddle your thumbs for a little bit while it goes through, and you put it in a little pocket of like parchment paper, and voila. So this one didn't cover, I don't think my laminator was hot enough because I was a little anxious. So I'm just going to run it back through, And you can run it back through again if it doesn't foil completely the first time. So I love the sparkle on those. I liked this big tag, and it was actually a pretty good saying. I can't remember, our home is yours for the holidays or something like that, which I thought was perfect, you know, because their kids going to the grandparents for the holidays, but I don't end up using that one. It was too big. It didn't fit on with the rest of my embellishments, but it is cute. So I knew I wanted to add some other little gold bits with this foil to the page. So I took this is a toner sheet, and it's just a solid sheet of black. And I just covered it with a small piece of foil so that I could punch some shapes from it or cut something out of it. I'm not exactly sure what I was going to do with it yet, but I knew I was going to use it because I'm going to want to balance the gold shimmer from these die cuts. Look, you can see them really shining there in the light. I put them down just perfectly, and so that light is really shining on them. They look like they're glowing almost. Okay, so I got my layout back, and I decided to add some color to the tags. So I didn't just want them white and gold, and I'm trying to match the color of this peachy paper here. And I actually did a pretty good job. I was surprised. I had to use some gelatos. I tried distress inks, but I just didn't have the right color for the peach anyway. But this green, a combination of a couple green inks seemed to work pretty good. So I don't even know what the names of these colors are. I'm just kind of, you know, looking at the color, not the name, and kind of blending it until I get something that I like. And because these tags are so small, I was just kind of dabbing it on with my fingers. And it actually ends up being a pretty even distribution of color there. So, like I said, I thought I was going to use that big tag, so I'm going to color anyway. And when I was looking at the papers, I didn't have a lot of red, so I thought I would bring some red in. And this one came out way, way, way too red. It's like bright cherry red. So I tried to dull it down with a couple browns, and yeah, it just wasn't going with the color of the pattern paper, which was I was trying to match. I probably should have used watercolors instead of the inks, or painted the inks. But I guess it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad in the video. I guess in real life it was a little more red than I had wanted. It's still really pretty, so maybe I'll use it on a card or something instead. So I love the little tags. I love how they came out. That tag size is so cute. And I know it's hard to tell here in the video, but that tag has like a little, is that embossed? Is that the word I'm looking for? Kind of indented, stitched line around it. So super cute. Okay, so I broke out some mists and some watercolors because I'm going to do some splatters in the background. I'm trying to find a really light blue mist. I don't have, or I'm sorry, just something for splatters, light blue splatters. And I don't have a mist that is the color, that light color blue, kind of like a sky blue. I have a teal blue, I have, you know, navy blue, I have every other blue except this sky blue. So I just used watercolors and that worked fine. And then I used a peach, kind of coral Heidi Swap color shine, and then a moss green color as well. And yeah, I like how those drops look. So now I'm going to start to add my embellishments. And yes, I still don't have things glued down because I don't like to glue until I'm absolutely sure that everything is going to go where I want it to go. And that's because I use that mixed media liquid adhesive. And when I use that adhesive, once it's down and it is not coming up. So this is very easy to embellish because I'm working just with a sticker sheet. And by doing this, it helps me because I have so much Christmas stash. If I just stick to one collection, I seem to get something done so much faster because I don't have to sort through all of my stuff. Reindeer, super cute. I love that little guy. Green tree, also super cute. I decided to move the tree to the right because the green pattern paper was on the left as well, so I wanted a little bit more contrast with the tree, so I switched those two around. By the way, I put little scraps of, just laying on my desk, little scraps of paper behind my stickers so they don't stick down completely. And then I like to pop my stickers up, so I use the 3D foam squares to pop my stickers up off the page. So that's why I put a little piece of scrap paper behind them. You notice how I have the reindeer and the Christmas tree overlapping the photo? I changed that because I have the presents overlapping and then those things overlapping and then the tag at the top is overlapping just the border. But I don't like too many things overlapping the photo. I think this is where I change it right here, tuck up behind. I think it takes away from the photo when you have too much stuff covering it up. So yeah, I just tucked those behind a little bit. So that little thing to me makes a big difference. Okay, so I had the gold foil on the tags, so I'm going to have to add gold foil in other parts of my page. So I cut a little label, or not cut, but punched a little label to go behind my little sticker at the top of the photo. And then I thought, I wasn't initially going to back any of these stars, but I thought, maybe I'll just do a couple because the foil is really pretty. And then it will add some nice, create that visual triangle with the gold. So I'm just going to do one little star over to the left and then those two at the top, and that kind of helps complete the visual triangle. So my camera actually died and had started gluing. So I have glued the title down. I've glued some of the pattern papers down to the background, and some of the strips as well. So now I'm going to, since the papers are all glued down, I'm going to use these 3D foam squares to pop up my little embellishments off the page, mostly the presents, I think. I think everything else I just kind of layered down there because the reindeer and the Christmas tree were behind the photo. I layered them behind the photo. Oh, and these branches, which also got cut out, I fussy cut those from a piece of pattern paper, those pine branches, so that you can see the pattern paper over to the left there. It's underneath my gold thread. So that came from a pattern paper. Actually, I know it looks like it took a long time to fussy cut, but they weren't that bad to fussy cut. It went pretty quickly. All right, so to add my little tags, I am going to take some gold thread. This is a very super fine gold thread. It is so pretty. It's hard to see, and it's going to be hard to see in the photo or maybe even the video here, but it's a beautiful thread. But I'm trying to wrap it around this present, and I'm also trying to stick it to the foam square that's already behind this present so that I don't have to keep adhering it down. And it actually works pretty good in the end. And then I made little bow loops with it at the top. So yeah, that came out really cute. And I'm going to put a foam square behind those two tags because I want you to be able to see both of them, and so I'm going to secure them in place so that they are always both there. Oh, that's a great shot right there. I hope there's not 5 minutes of that. All right, there's not. Okay, so I was just looking underneath my cut file and gluing my gold pieces down behind my stars. So in case you couldn't see that, that's what I was doing. So now I'm going to glue this cardstock down. By the way, you can see my base cardstock is another piece of scrap cardstock. So I'm just using something I've cut out from before. And I trim off that extra piece underneath. And voila! So there it is, and I add some stitching through that striped piece of paper. Well, there's the gold thread you can see there, and that beautiful sparkle on those tags. And then you can see more of that foil shimmer up at the label at the top and the stars in the background. So I just love this collection too. This paper collection is, I think it's going to be one of my favorites. There's not a ton to this collection, but I love this color palette, so super fun. Okay, thanks so much for coming by today and watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day and stay scrappy, friends.